3D printing, okay, the ability to build things in a layered fashion is really, it's been around, technology's been around for about 30 years now. But the patents, the interesting thing about 3D printing is that a lot of patents are going to be, legacy patents are going to be expiring over, or have been expiring over, like, it started about a year and a half ago. And for the next 5 years, a lot of these legacy patents are going to be expiring. And so a lot of the fundamental of the technology is going to be available to a much broader group of manufacturers and engineers, which is why you're seeing this sort of like revolution going on in 3D printing right now. And while I focus on the artistic side, I think some of the most interesting aspects of the discipline is the different types of materials that you're going to be able to print, both at a macro, really large scale, I mean 3D printing houses scale, and also at like a nano scale. Now, as a sculptor, that's very exciting because those are two really, wonderful opposite domains. Toss in somewhere in between there the ability to print in biological material. Hopefully someday the ability to present in biological multi-materials so that you can begin to fabricate and make things at a very small scale, not a very large scale, in ways that, not in some ways that you couldn't before, but in ways that you could before, but because you can more efficiently, it extends what you're able to do. For me, I've always looked at 3D printing as an intermediary step in the sculptural process. Sometimes, every once in a while, it's an end unto itself, but for me, it's a way of creating an object that's very highly detailed, okay, that you can then go back, make molds of, make multiple copies of, and begin to explore what they are saying conceptually and be able to like reproduce them and to move through these very intricate formulations of an object because you've encoded it digitally in some ways. Also a wonderful way to do variations within a theme, both from just like a very basic formal level to exploring like different relationships between elements within a design. So 3D printing's really exciting because of that. But my fear though is that there's going to be a lot of wasted plastic. Because we're going through a phase now with this technology. I like to yell to my students, not yell at them, but yell to my students that just because it was 3D printed does not give it any inherent artistic value. And the challenge for us as artists who are working in these technology areas is to never lose sight of the fact is that whatever we create still has to live and exist within the continuum of objects that have come through fine arts, through that pipeline over history. And it's a very long history. And we're living in a time now where anything that's 3D printed is just given this intrinsic value by people that if it was made in any other way, we wouldn't care about it. And we have to find a way to get beyond that. And the way to get beyond that is to do things that truly represent some new form of beauty that's inherently reflective of that technology, or incorporating it into really sound, strong, creative ideas that are using that as a means to get to that sort of artistic end. And the beautiful thing is that if you're successful, no one will care how it was made or what was used as a tool to create it, because they're going to be drawn into the experience of the object that you put in front of them. And as an artist, that's one of the things that I try to make sure that I hold center to how I use a lot of these technologies, and specifically 3D printing.